We'll reconvene into open session. And will Mrs. Laura please lead us in the flag salute?
Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mrs. Laura.
My pleasure.
We will open the floor for public testimony. During meetings of the Board of Trustees, members of the public have an opportunity to comment on items that appear on the agenda or items that do not appear on agenda but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Speakers may not yield or donate their time to another speaker. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of the speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask additional persons to speak only if they have something new to add. The board shall not prohibit public criticism of policies, procedures, programs, services of the district, or acts or omissions of the board. Speakers are informed that the opportunity to address the board does not confer any privilege or protection for expression beyond that otherwise provided by the law. Okay, and I have 3 here. Are there any additionals? No additionals. Okay, so we'll start with Gladys or Alana. Sorry for any mispronunciations.
Good evening to all. So I will go straight into what I have to say. How should people respond
Excuse
to?
me, can you move the mic down? And I'm not sure if it's on. I just want the audience to be able to hear you as well.
And the clock?
Hello?
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. How should people respond to a reality they did not choose? Nationality, gender, special needs? Should we just accept our faith and hope to receive charity from the ones who hold power? It is imperative that every child receives free and appropriate public education in an inclusive and safe learning environment. A few days ago, there was an incident at the high school where a student club displayed a pro-ICE poster, which led to students' outrage. The poster stated, "I support ICE." This is a politically charged message that is saying, I support what ICE is part of, and I support what it represents. It is an attack on immigrant communities, and it is perceived as menacing. I support ICE is antithetical to I support the rule of law. ICE is racially profiling, using unnecessary force, tactics, and terrorizing and killing people, separating families, taking children to detention centers, such as 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos, who was bundled up in his tiny plaid coat, blue knit bunny hat, and Spider-Man backpack, and taken like a criminal. A pro-ICE poster is not a message that belongs in school. It is inappropriate and concerning. It disrupts learning, lacks empathy, creates fear and anxiety for immigrant students. It violates the principle of making all students feel unwelcome and not safe. It questions schools' neutrality and signals that schools are no longer protected zones of vulnerable populations. Empathy is most important during times of high stress, crisis, and uncertainty. It's important to take time to understand students' home, community, and cultural backgrounds. Acknowledge and validate the emotions and anxieties of the community. We need support for the rule of law, for inclusion, and for free, appropriate public education in a safe environment. I am requesting for better supervision of the school clubs and for the advisor to be, to take responsibility of what happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Cambria Denton.
Good evening. My name is Cambria Denton. I'm a junior here at BHS, and I'm coming to you today in light of recent incidents on campus. Last semester in my AP English class, while talking about education in America and around the globe, I heard so many classmates criticize failures in our education system, yet we constantly said, but our school is better, Beaumont provides for its students, we get access to meals, tutoring, counseling, and more. And I was one of those kids praising our district's name. So it is disheartening taking the recent incidents on campus that I need to come here and criticize you today, but I believe that you care about our students and value our voices, and I hope I am not wrong. I know you've heard about the incident that happened on the 16th of this month pertaining to Club America, but I want to make it clear, hate speech should not be allowed on campus. So much is going on in our country today, and even for us students, it is hard not to notice or let it affect our school performance. School needs to be a safe space for all, an escape from the news or politics or hateful rhetoric. I understand the comments made by the club may fall under free speech, but even that has limitations. Yes, a student may express themselves, but not on school campus that hinders other students' ability to learn, and that's just what happened on campus last Friday. There has always been limitations as to what students' opinions may be expressed, as found on any Beaumont school website, quote, "The Beaumont Unified School District prohibits during all school activities, programs, and employment discrimination, harassment, intimidation, and bullying based upon our actual perceived ancestry, age, color, disability, gender, gender identity, gender expression, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, sex, sexual orientation, or association with the person or a group with one or more of these actual or perceived characteristics," end quote. In the direct words, "We support ICE" and "Abortion is murder," written on the club's America sign, held during a school activity are hateful specifically towards women and immigrants, and no matter personal opinions about these topics, they do not belong anywhere on campus, and more importantly, as just stated, is in direct violation of BHS guidelines. Now, I don't know if the students were made aware of this guideline, but in any case, the fact stands clear that this incident does not fall under free speech, and future precautions need to be put in place to emphasize the importance of this guideline. To add, as found in the principal's message on the BHS website, quote, a school where students thrive in a safe and secure environment where everybody treats each other with dignity and respect," end quote. End quote. "At BHS, we always strive to be better," end quote. And I know this can be possible for BHS future, and I hope you do too. On that Friday, instead of talking about homework, after-school activities, or weekend plans, we were consumed by this hateful distraction. It not only hindered my learning capabilities, it made me and many others feel unsafe, uncomfortable, and attacked. Clubs need to be held to the same standards, and all students deserve to feel safe. Beaumont has always been a safe and loving place to me. Thursday and Friday nights in the fall, I am in a student section cheering for our football team in Cougar Blue. I act in the school plays, and I'm part of 4 clubs that I take great pride in being a part of. Beaumont is my community and home, and I tell everyone I come across that I'm proud to be a BHS student. And I hope that our campus can be a more positive place soon. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to my concerns. Students and administrators have the same goal, to make Beaumont an amazing school students can feel safe and proud to come to. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mike Laura.
Good evening, Honorable Chair, members of the board. Thank you so much. I just wanted to introduce myself, Mike Laura, Beaumont City Council member. I had the distinguished honor of being your liaison this next year. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. The other thing I also wanted to mention was I had the opportunity to participate this last Saturday and on multiple other occasions with the Amazing Shake. I believe this is the district's 2nd annual Amazing Shake, district-wide. I just wanted you to know, or the board to be aware of the efforts that staff has put into this program. I saw teachers, I saw principals, assistant principals, cabinet members, all participating to put this program on. The kids that participate are always amazing. To be a judge in this program was awesome. They had the culinary class do lunch. They had and I'm not sure the term, is it the video class, or they were filming. Fortunately, they did not get me on film because I got a face for radio. But it was just it was fantastic to watch a community event like that and all the work that went into it. I couldn't even imagine. Ms. Heisen did a fantastic job, and it's great. My first opportunity was at Sanji, and it's great to see this go district-wide now. There's all the elementary schools participate, and I just wanted to give you guys kudos and make sure that you recognize the staff that put so much time and energy into that program. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. Thank you for allowing me to be your liaison, and have a good evening, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Laura. All right, item 8.1. Approve the recommended action for student discipline case 202-526-11.
Move for approval?
Second.
Sorry.
Okay. First, second, any discussion? Call for the vote. All right, and moving on to item, oh, sorry. Is it not? I don't see it.
The pass.
Did I get kicked out?
We move forward to the next item already. It was all four yes, one absent.
Okay, so the motion carries?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Moving on to 9.1, reports out of closed session. Mr. Sanchez.
The board met in closed session relative to real property negotiations with respect to line item 5.3. The board, by unanimous vote of all trustees present with Dr. Sylvester absent, approved a purchase agreement for a 12.56 acre portion of land, Riverside County, parcel number 413-790-074, with the purchase price of $4,180,000. Interested parties may request a copy of this purchase sale agreement to review for further details. That was all that we did in close. Not all that we did. We did more, but that's the action.
That's
that
the only
we took.
reportable item out of closed
Yes.
session. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. All right, and we will receive a report from our student member, Caden Alderson. Welcome, Caden.
Justin.
I got to speak right into it, people. You got this.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
It's on.
Is it? Okay, sorry. Apologies, all right. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm excited to share our secondary school sites, great events, activities, and accomplishments. Firstly, we move on to Mountain View Middle School. Mountain View Middle School has officially been redesignated as California and National School to Watch for another 3 years. The Cougar National Junior Honor Society students proudly assisted with the Beaumont City Cleanup. Our amazing MVMS Cougar 8th grade AVID, NJHS, and ASB students had an incredible trip to Cal State San Marcos and the University of San Diego. The Cougar Marching Band, Color Guard, and Cheer Team participated in the Beaumont Veterans Day Parade, and over 190 students brought their energy, confidence, and best handshakes to round one of the Amazing Shake competition. Next, move on to San Gorgonio Middle School. San Gorgonio Middle School was redesignated as a national and California school to watch. The school hosted the 7th annual Amazing Shake event on November 12th through the 14th, and about 250 students participated. Special thanks to Assistant Principal Heisen Gasper, the ASB team, and volunteers. On November 12th, students who are members of the California Cadet Corps participated in a promotion ceremony. 6 cadets were promoted in rank due to their participation and performance. Over 150 community members attended Family Paint Night, thanks to the Art Barn with Susan Turley. Slide 4, we are on Summer Wind Trail School. Summer Wind Trail School cross-country banquet recognized athletes for their hard work. Students applauded the performers in Shrek the Musical at the Beaumont High School. The girls' volleyball team ended another amazing season, reminding us all why school athletics is so important. Students competed in the annual Amazing Shake competition in the lead up to the district level finals. And now we're on Beaumont High School, where the advanced culinary completed in a chop challenge for Riverside County and took top honors. Winter athletics are doing well with boys soccer winning the Citrus. Winning the Citrus Hill Tournament and currently in first place in the Citrus Belt League and looking to win another league championship. 7 out of 8 varsity winners teams had 3.0 GPAs at the semester. Admin met with the students on the January 27th in the principal's advisory meeting to get students together to discuss their feelings about student clubs on campus. On January 23rd, ASB hosted a blood drive, 84 total donors, 30 first-time donors. Now we move on to Glenview High School. Glenview High School Coyotes boys and girls softball season ended. Congratulations to the boys team for making it to the playoffs. The Coyote basketball season has started. Special thanks to Principal Horton of San Gorgonio Middle School and Principal Shearer of Beaumont High School for making their gym available. The Glenview High School is recognized as a model continuation high school by the California Continuation Education Association and the California Department of Education. We move on to 21st Century Learning Institute. 21st Century students had an excellent performance at the district's first round of the Amazing Shake event. Elementary and middle school students participated in the school spelling bee. Congratulations to Hansel Aquino, who placed first. Congratulations to all of the students who showed their pride through academic excellence. K-8 and 9-12 award celebrations for first semester achievement were held. A special shout out to Board President Jeff Brown, who attended the high school celebration to show his support. Move on to Beaumont Middle College High School. Students and their families recently celebrated achievements in the areas of academics, attendance, and behavior. The Phoenix History Bowl team qualified for National History Bowl competition after placing second in Nevada. Trevor Shelton placed third in the individual History B competition. We move on to Beaumont Adult School. Beaumont Adult School celebrated its 16th high school graduate, LaShawn Branch, which is joining the Air Force for the sonography of biomedical analysis. The vocational nursing student partnered with San Gorgonio Middle School to host a pediatric health fair at all of their lunches. The medical assistant program welcomed their newest cohort, and they are starting to practice taking vital signs. As always, thank you to all of our parents and staff. This concludes the presentation of the events and activities taking place at our secondary school sites.
Thank you, Caden. We will now receive a report from the superintendent and review the district calendar for the months of January and February of 2026. Ms. Kakish.
Thank you, thank you. And Happy New Year, everybody. This is our first meeting for the year. I wanted to start by welcoming Caden, our second semester student board member. Thank you and great job on your first report. And I wanted to highlight, we had a 3-day weekend last Monday and honored Martin Luther King Jr., and that was on the 19th. I wanted to highlight one of his quotes: "Education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the true from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from the fiction." And if you look at that slide, it's 1947. How relevant is that quote today? As we go through, and a lot of things that we read, whether it's social media, whether it's AI information, whether it's more of a reason for all of us to really live by this quote and try to differentiate true from false, because there's so much of it nowadays. So it just coincidentally happened to be a really good time to just remind all of us about that. And again, people knew it back in 1947. It's also School Board Member Recognition Month. I don't know if our board members knew that, but we just selected few of the events that you have attended and some of the great pictures that we were able to capture for our board. And it's just an amazing opportunity for all of us to thank our Board of Trustees. And you've heard me say this before, and I say it with full sincerity, and I say it from the bottom of my heart, that we have the best Board of Education in Riverside County. Now, I want to say the whole state of California, but I haven't been in too many of those, but I've been around a lot in Riverside County, and I just want to thank our Board of Trustees on behalf of all of our staff for all of your support and continuous given and, of your time and of your family time to all of our events to support our students and our staff. So in honor of your month.
Thanks, Mace.
We also wanted to just highlight a few of the things that happened this month. As you know, when we were off on winter holiday, we were able to offer scholars on vacation camps, and just over 150 TK through 6th grade students attended that week, and it was full of programs for families and for students. And the program is just one offering by the Expanded Learning Opportunities program. Again, a lot of people know that we've received this funding recently in the last few years, and it just added so much to our families as far as services, to our students, so we're very thankful for that funding. And for January Student of the Month, I want to just highlight Jasmine Zaragoza Beacon. That's how that name is pronounced. I know it's spelled differently. And Jasmine was from Glenview High School and plans to attend Mount San Jacinto College to pursue a career as a counselor. Soraya, which is the one on my right, on the slide, plans to pursue a degree in speech pathology. And Science and Engineering Fair was held on January 15th. And as you know, you can see Mr. Sanchez attended on behalf of the board. And 4th grader Jackson Gerhard was able to take the picture with Mr. Sanchez. A total of 19 students will proceed to the Riverside County level competition on February 28th. And we started the cast recognition. We don't have all of the pictures, so we just wanted you to know that a lot of our schools will receive trophies and plaques for some of their highest achievers, staff members that are really moving this district in achievement for math and English language arts and science. Those are the only areas that get tested. And then we held the second Facilities Advisory Committee, Superintendent's Facilities Advisory Committee yesterday, and it was a great meeting. And I just want to just go on record and thank everyone that attended the meeting, whether it's the first and the second. It's people taking time out of their family, their precious time, as you know, and giving it to us to give us feedback to try to have a successful campaign towards our measure. So, just a simple thank you for all of them. As far as upcoming events for the rest of January, we have the district reclassification celebration on January 28th. Annual District Amazing Shake Finals will be on January 29th. And Parent Partners graduation on January 29th also. For February, just at the beginning of February, we'll have Student of the Month again in Banning on February 3rd. February 4th, we will have Be Ready Beaumont CTE showcase at the high school. And our next board meeting will be on February 10th. And I wanted to just highlight to everyone that knew I was expecting a grandchild. Jeannie, I had mine. So welcome Paul Kakish, came on the 7th of January, and he was 6 pounds, 7 ounces. And I'm not kidding, 6'7".
6'7".
And that's it, Mr. President, for my report.
Thank you very much, Mays. And congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to item 10.1, approve the consent agenda. Actions prepared for the consent agenda are items that are consistent with adopted and approved policies of the district and are deemed routine in nature. They will be acted upon in a single motion without discussion unless any member of the Board of Trustees requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda. In that event, it will be taken up in the order indicated on the main agenda. So, item 10.2, approve the minutes of the regular board meeting from December 9th, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
Or do you want to do the whole consent agenda?
Yes, sorry.
Is somebody going to pull?
Huh?
Somebody going to pull an item?
Oh, would anyone like to pull an item? Sorry.
Good job.
It's like it's January or something.
They gave us too much of a break, all right?
Okay, I'll move approval.
We already had
on
that
item-
discussion.
I'll move approval on 10.2 through 10.8.
I'll second.
So moved by Susie, seconded by Melissa. And is there any discussion? All right. Call for the vote. And the motion carries. And no items pulled. Item 12.1, approve the audited actuals report.
We have Nathan coming.
Yes, and there should be a presentation and an action.
Good evening, Superintendent Kakish, President Brown, members of the board, cabinet, and colleagues. Oh, cool. Thank you. So for the audited actual report, there is not a slideshow presentation, but rather the audit is posted as part of the board agenda. I wanted to come to the podium and bring to your attention that there is an audit finding for 24-25. The audit finding is pertaining to attendance, and it has about a $60,000 impact, and it pertains to the attendance report that was filed last school year. So our office will file an amended report to recoup the $60,000 benefit to Beaumont Unified, and we do have our auditor present here today if there are any further questions on the audit.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Especially the clarification. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the audited actuals report?
So moved.
I'll say, go ahead, Melissa.
I'll second.
So David and Melissa. And any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All right. Item 12.2, receive a presentation and approve the contract with True North Research for the purpose of conducting a bond feasibility survey.
Good evening,
Yes.
President Brown, Superintendent Kakish, Board of Trustees. This evening, we have this item that is a follow-up from the September 9th study session that the board was presented with an update on our capital facilities program and also exploration on a potential future bond, general obligation bond. This evening, we've asked Dr. Tim McClarney from True North to provide us with a presentation this evening on the next phase on planning the general obligation bond, which is the voter survey process. Dr. McClarney, he's an expert in this area, and he's going to walk us through that process.
Good evening.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That can go up a little bit higher if you.
Oh,
want
can
to
it?
go
So I don't have to
higher.
lean into
Can
it?
you help him?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he's tall.
There we go. Thank you for that. Well, good evening. I'm Tim McClarney, president of True North Research, and we are a firm that for the past 25 years has specialized in working with school districts in California as well as other types of public agencies in using surveys to help them develop a statistically reliable understanding of the communities and the customers that they serve. To date, my business partner and I, working as a two-person team, have designed and conducted over 1,500 research studies for public agencies, and about 500 of those studies are what we call revenue measure feasibility studies, like what we're going to be talking about here tonight, where the goal is to understand if it's feasible to move forward with some type of bond measure, and if it is feasible, to understand how might you go about structuring that measure in a way that it's well aligned with the type of measure that your community is interested in supporting. I will say that I've had the privilege of working with a lot of districts in Riverside County as well as Southern California in general. I think probably 2/3 of the bonds that have been passed in Riverside County in the last 15 years, we had the privilege of doing the research for. So tonight's presentation is a short one. I've got a slide here on the purpose of the survey. So why do we go about doing this type of research? I have a slide on the methodology or how we go about doing the research. And then I also have a slide on the process. So it gives you an understanding of what the next couple months would look like. So in terms of the purpose of the survey, what we're really trying to do with these studies is address the 3 bullets that you see there on the slide. The first is to answer that basic question of, is it feasible? And what I mean by that is, if you as a board were to choose to move forward with a measure and put it on the ballot, does it have a reasonable chance of success? Answer to that question isn't always yes, right? Sometimes we do the research and we get the data back and you look at the data and there's just really not a clear path to get you from where you are today to where you need to be successful and viable on election day. And if that's the case, I'll be the first person to tell you that. Fortunately, when you think about all the things that voters are willing to tax themselves for, education tends to be at the top of that list. And so oftentimes we do find that it's feasible. Once we've identified it's feasible, that second bullet kicks in gear, which is to understand how might you go about structuring a bond measure in a way that it's consistent with the type of measure that your community is interested in supporting. There's a lot of components to a bond package. There's what's the overall price tag in terms of the bond amount, but what's the underlying tax rate that property owners would need to pay to support that bond. There's the project list, right? You have your ideas about what your facility needs are. Voters might have their ideas about what they would prioritize for future bond proceeds. There's accountability provisions that need to be built into this measure. There's questions about timing. So there's all these sort of important questions that you as a board would ultimately need to answer if you're going to place a measure on the ballot, and the research is designed to help guide you in those decisions. And then finally and importantly, it's an opportunity for us to understand the role that information plays in shaping voters' opinions about your proposal. That can help guide communications and all from the district, and then ultimately, obviously, an independent campaign. So that's really what we're hoping to accomplish with the bond survey. In terms of the methodology or how we go about structuring these types of studies, the first question we always want to ask ourselves is, what election is this bond being considered for, right? Different elections have different turnouts, and as you expand and shrink turnout, you can get a very different profile to the group of voters that's ultimately going to be casting ballots in that election. So one of the keys to making sure that this research is reliable is we want to be focusing on what we call likely voters for that given election. In this case, we're looking at November 2026, right? Does not have the high turnout that, say, the presidential general election does. It's a smaller subgroup of voters. And what we do with the survey is once we've identified all likely November voters within the district, we use a process called stratified and clustered random sampling to choose a representative sample of those voters. And that aligns with the profile of that likely voter universe on all the dimensions that we know are related to how voters tend to behave when it comes to bond measures. So the key is to make sure like the balance by age, by gender, by partisanship, by household party type, by where they live within the district, the balance in our sample matches the balance of that likely November universe, and that's really key. Once we have identified our sample, we reach out using 3 different methods: email, text, and telephone. Everything's pin protected so that only those folks that we randomly selected to take the survey can do so, and they can do so one time only. They have the opportunity to do it either by telephone or online, whichever is their preference. They can do it in English or Spanish, whichever is their preference. And then in terms of the proposed sample size, what we're proposing is at least 400 interviews. With a sample of 400, even though it sounds like a small amount of your total electorate, because we're selected at random, we can estimate the opinions of that entire November 2026 universe within a certain margin of error due to sampling. In this case, that would be plus or minus 4.9% at the 95% confidence level. So what that means is when we're done with the survey, we can be 95% confident that the results that we have in our study are within 4.9% of what we would have found had we spoken with all of your voters, so highly reliable. And last slide is really one on the process and timeline. This sort of shows each of the stages within a survey research project. So project initiation, way over there on the left, all the way to the end where we've had the chance to present to your board and also provide some strategic guidance. Front to back, that is usually about 2 months. We typically have initial data ready to go in, say, 5-6 weeks. And you can see under sort of the amount of time we devote to each one of those stages and all the tasks that we're going to be handling in those stages. So with that, I end my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the board if you have any at this time.
Yeah, I do. I had an advantage because I was at the Superintendent Advisory Committee last night, Facilities Advisory Committee. And one of the questions that I came into last night with was, because I had read the material ahead of time, and I'm aware that we're reaching out to survey via text, phone, email, all of those things. But I know myself, I don't answer those things if I don't know who they are. And so one of the concerns that I had going into last night was, well, how are we going to get this data? And that question was answered last night. Okay. And you can explain it better than me because you're 100 times better at this than I am. But I appreciated the point that within each demographic, if I'm understanding it correctly, the percentage that would have to represent our total population, each sub-demographic, the surveys are continued until that percentage is reached. Yep. Can you explain that better? Because I think that it's useful information for...
Sure. We do it two ways. So I mentioned this stratified and clustered random sampling. We all have heard sort of, you need to, in order to have a statistically reliable study, you have to base it on a random sample. Well, the definition of a random sample is every unit in the population has an equal probability of being selected. That's the definition of a random sample. So you can do what they call simple random samples, where you just do that. What we use is what's called stratified and clustered random sampling. So what we do first is we break down your voter file, all your voters, based on those dimensions that I mentioned tend to drive how people vote on tax measures. So things like partisanship, things like household party type, age, gender. We break them all down, and then we build clusters that represent certain multidimensional profiles. And so what I mean by that is, let's say if 5% of your electorate are Democratic females between 40 and 50 years of age, live with another Democrat, live in a certain part of the district, right? We make sure that 5% of our clusters match that profile. Then you randomly select people into their clusters. And the beauty of this is now if I can't reach somebody in this cluster, I get to replace them with someone who shares that same profile. And in today's day and age in particular, as you might imagine, it's a little partisan, right? And so if we were to be off on any of these dimensions, right, if we were too Republican or too Democrat, right, or we were too much on renters and not enough on homeowners, that can lead to, these groups sometimes view bonds differently, particularly the partisan subgroups. So if your sample's a little off, that means your data in the end is going to be a little off, right? And so we're super careful about how we structure that sample so that it matches the profile of the participating electorate. And then, so that's in the sampling stage, right? And during data collection, we're watching this, right? Mm-hmm. And so again, if I couldn't reach you, if you were a voter in Beaumont, and I couldn't reach you because you weren't responding in one way or another, I can replace you with someone who shares your same profile. And it is remarkable how that multidimensional profile is really so predictive of how people tend to vote.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because that was one of my biggest concerns, was like, how are we going to collect this data? And that was explained so well, and you did a great job. My second question is, I know the town halls are planned for after the surveys, right? How much of an impact do you think that has on the understanding that the community might have before taking the survey? So would that skew the feasibility?
No, because the way town halls, even the best attended town halls, it's a very small fraction of your total voters, right? What the neat thing about our survey is, although it's a small number of people, it's 400 or so, we're choosing them from across the community, not based on their interest in schools or willingness to show up at town halls or anything else, right? We're choosing them at random and based within their particular profiles. So what you tend to find with town halls is you get the passionate people will show up for those, that's right? True. And there's a lot of value to passion, so I'm not dismissing it at all. But what we want to make sure is we've got not only the right balance of passionate people, but we have the right balance of voters who, they're busy with their lives and they're probably not going to show up at a town hall, but it doesn't mean they're not going to vote and they don't have opinions.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Any other questions?
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Bonds are not my strong suit, so I'm leaning right into this, and I appreciate your time this evening.
You're very welcome. I'll be over here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonds are a very new thing for Melissa and I, for sure. And a very passionate thing for the entire community. So, all right, so do we have a motion to approve this study?
I move to approve.
Second?
Okay, so I've got Melissa and David. Okay.
Question.
Okay.
Okay, so, like I said, we were at the meeting last night. Forgot the name of the company, Civics? What's the name?
Civics.
Team Civic.
Yeah, Team Civics. She talked about the exact same thing. So is this something that they do together, or is this, I'm a little confused.
This is just through North contract.
Okay.
She was describing it as a consultant for us.
Okay.
So we do different things. There are more communications in the strategy. We do the research, but we've worked together. Even though we're separate companies, we've collaborated on projects for probably 15 years plus. So she can do a pretty good Tim impression, and I can sometimes do a Joy impression.
But you did very well.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. She could probably.
That sounded just
I've
like
got a
last
few
night.
jokes she stole too.
Until you said,
All right,
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Her partner Dustin is here today if you have any questions for Team Civics too.
well, you guys are on the same page, that's for sure.
Okay, I didn't realize. Okay, thank you.
All right. So any other questions or comments before the vote? All right, let's call for the vote. And the motion carries. Okay, and item 12.3.
Thank you.
Remind Caden that he can vote on all except for HR. Except for Human Resources section, maybe. I'm abbreviating.
Thank you, Mace. Okay, so item 12.3, we will approve the appointments of Joan Marie Patsky and the Bonafide Taxpayers Association, Representative Bill Ralph as the Senior Citizens Organization representative for Term 1 on the Measure Z Citizens Oversight Committee.
I'll move approval.
Second?
Susie and David. All right.
And they are in the audience, so I just want to make sure that we thank you for your service. Much needed.
I just want to make a comment, because Joan Marie Patsky's you've been in the community for a long time. I don't know who Bill Ralph is, but I thank you for your time. But Joan, thank you for everything that you do. You've been around for a long time in and out of things, and so I appreciate what you do.
All right, thank you, Susie. And so, all right, so we got a motion second. So we got a discussion. Any further discussion? All right, call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 12.4, approve resolution 2025-26-19 pursuant to Ed Code Section 17466, declaring the intention of the board to sell the Manzanita surplus property and establishing a date and time in which to receive and consider bids for the purchase of the site.
So moved.
Moved by David,
I'll second.
seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote. and the motion carries. Item 12.5, approve Resolution 2025-26-20 pursuant to Education Code Section 17466, declaring the intention of the board to sell the Oak Valley surplus real property and establish a date and time in which to receive and consider bids for the purchase of the site. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Susie and David. And any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. Item 12-6, approve resolution 2025-26-21 pursuant to Education Code Section 17466, declaring the intention of the board to sell the Pennsylvania Avenue surplus property and establish a date and time in which to receive and consider bids for the purchase of the site. Do I hear a motion?
So moved?
David? Was that Melissa?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. All right. And any discussion?
I am as happy as a lark if this last one passes, because Susie and I have been pushing this for over 20 years.
You just need me to push for 3. All right, so discussion, call for the vote. And the motion carries. 12.6, moving on to 12.7. All right, so conduct a first reading of Beaumont Unified School District's board policy regarding business and non-instructional operations in the 3000s as listed in the summary and adopt if a second reading is not necessary. The following board policy regarding business and non-instructional operations is presented for consideration. BP 3513.1 cellular phone reimbursement. This is an adaptation of existing policy, or is this a brand new policy?
We've operated cell phone reimbursement stipends, but we did not have a policy.
So this is a first reading, and we will bring this back. Okay, just want to make sure, because for those unfamiliar, when the board receives a first reading of a new policy we've never had before, we always bring it back for a second reading. And for policies that already exist, we bring them back for a second reading if there are questions or clarification, just so that everyone's on the same page. So, questions or comments from the board regarding this policy?
I think it's a good policy to have to make sure that the staff that probably use their cell phones already are getting a stipend for that. So glad we're putting it in writing.
I'm also glad they're putting it in writing. I'm not 100% on board with the way the policy splits things. I think if you use your phone, you're using your phone. It was explained to me that possibly some people would use their phone more often than other people or anything like that, but a flat rate paid policy versus these positions get this and these positions get that policy makes less sense to me, but we can also discuss this further in the second reading, but that's just my opinion.
I think just as an explanation, so that way you can further give it some thought, a lot of the cell phone stipend is also to address texts, for example. So data plans change when you're using your text more and it's not just the phone calls. And so some positions might have to be utilizing that a lot more often, which means a higher data plan as far as usage. So that's why the allowance gives the ones that are having to do that more often $20 more than the tier 1.
And Maze, with that tier 2, there's an expectation that they're available, right?
Yes, available 24/7, basically.
Right.
Although we don't abuse it, right?
There's still that expectation.
They
Whereas,
don't look convinced back there.
yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of people checking out their shoes.
yeah.
All right, so we will bring this back for a second reading next month. Information only. So, any other questions or comments from other members of the board for the first reading? All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item 12.8, we will conduct a second reading and adopt if no other questions or concerns are needed from the board on board policy regarding students as part of the district's ongoing review and update of policies and regulations in conjunction with the California School Boards Association and following board policies and administrative regulations as presented for consideration is Board Policy 5141.5, Mental Health, and Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 5145.3, Non-Discrimination and Harassment. So any comment, or this is an action and information item, so
Second reading.
second reading, so comments from the board?
I'll move approval first,
You'll move approval first? Okay.
and then we'll have discussion.
And then we'll open for discussion.
Right, second?
Okay, so SD. All right. Moved by Susie, seconded by David. Open for discussion.
I think all the suggestions were
Were implemented? Okay. So, all right. Thank you very much. So call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 13.1, approve the instructional calendars for the 2026-27 and 27-28 school years. A committee of employees consisting cabinet members, district administrators, representatives from CSEA and BTA, and elementary and secondary teachers met to provide input on the creation of the instructional calendars for the 26-27 and 27-28 school years, recommended for approval by the Board of Trustees. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by David, seconded by, do I hear a second? Melissa. Okay. And discussion.
I have a question.
Okay.
On the 27, 28 calendar, when is Columbus Day? Isn't that in October sometime?
Yes.
It's, yeah, I just want to make sure I know when to move to.
Yeah, so traditionally, Columbus Day, which is also California Missions Day, which is also Indigenous Day, is a floating holiday that can be moved wherever we want. It's typically celebrated on that second week of October. And we usually have it butting up next to our Professional Development Day. What the calendar committee recognized was that the Veterans Day holiday falls on a Thursday in that school year. And so their recommendation was to move that holiday to float right behind Veterans Day and celebrate both in sequence.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
So that would be, just in summation, that would be moving that traditional holiday out a month and then creating a 4-day weekend where it would have been a 1-day. And for those of you who are not aware, Veterans Day is observed on November 11th, regardless of what day of the week it falls on.
Correct.
It would create a 4-day weekend for that by moving the other one out a month.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure.
Good planning.
And for
Okay.
for analysis, we looked at previous school years and when Veterans Day fell on a Thursday or a Wednesday, we looked at the attendance rates following that day, and they're very bad. So we wanted to, right.
Students and staff. Yeah.
That was a really high attendance rate for subs.
That's not what we're going for, Jeff.
I'm going to give them their shot.
Wrong direction.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All right, call for the vote. All right, and the motion carries. Item 13.2, approve the quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints for the second quarter of the 25-26 school year.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Moved by Susie, seconded by David. Any discussions? All right, hearing none, call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 13.3, receive a report of the formal complaints filed in the district for the second quarter of 25-26.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you for the information, Cabinet. Received. Approve the 24-25 School Accountability Report Card, SARC. And so, do I hear a motion to approve the SARC reports?
Yes, I move to approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Melissa, seconded by Susie. And then discussion. I have a comment. I feel that this is probably shared by the entire board, but I see a room full of principals today. These SARC reports, so for the members of the public who are not aware of this, these SARC reports are a colossal amount of data compilation and work that the school sites put together every year. And it is, it's the site admin's responsibility to make sure that all this data is accurate and presented to the board in a consistent and effective way. And I would like to applaud the school site administrators for their effort and diligence. Those of you who are here, thank you very much. Those of your staff who helped work on this, who I'm sure that was many, 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 please pass along our gracious thanks. This is a lot of work by a lot of people. There are quite a few of you here. I do want to recognize that. And I do like to see your lovely smiling faces out there. Thank you. Any other comments from the rest of the board?
Oh, you did good. Thank you.
Agreed.
It's good to see all of you. Thank you.
Yes, we do love to see all of you.
You guys are amazing.
It's much nicer from this view when you're here.
All right. So, moved, seconded. So, call for the vote. And the motion carries. All right, item 13.5, accept the California Department of Education's grant award notification for Career and Technical Education Incentives Grant. The grant amount is $595,291. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by David.
I'll second.
Seconded by Susie. Any discussion? No? Okay. So I think it's amazing the work that the CTE department does, and I think it's awesome that we're able to receive these additional grant monies to further our activities. So with that, I will call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 13.6, accept the California Department of Education's grant award notification for the after-school and safety program. The grant award is $399,215.59. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by David.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. And any comments? Hearing none, call for the vote. Motion carries. Accept the California Department of Education's grant award notification for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Sorry. This will be for $204,932. Do I hear a motion?
Move approval.
Moved by Susie,
Second.
seconded by David. Discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All right, motion carries. On to Human Resources. Item 14.1, approve the approve the certificated personnel assignment order listed on the report dated January 27th, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move approval.
Moved by Susie, seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 14.2, approve the classified personnel assignment order listed on the report dated January 27th, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
So I'll second.
Moved by, was it Susie or Melissa? Seconded by David. Any comments?
No.
All right. Call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 15.1, authorize the renewal of an additional school booster club for the 2026 calendar school year. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by David.
I'll second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? All right, call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 15.2, approve an agreement for architectural and engineering services with GO Architects for the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program Portable Buildings Project at Brookside, Starlight, Sundance, Tournament Hills Elementary Schools. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Melissa and David. And comments?
Do we have a not to exceed amount on this? I couldn't see one, but I don't know if I missed it.
Architectural professional services are based on a sliding scale from the state of, that follows the Office of Public School Construction. So it's based on the scope of work. There is a fee schedule that is tied to this. And so it's based on that, on a fee schedule sliding scale.
Okay.
So Sergio, just to sort of restate what I think you said, is that there is a maximum, but it's determined by the state, and it's based on the complexity of the project across a sliding scale.
That is correct. The formula is based on a maximum set formula that the state has provided.
Okay.
That we're using and applying in these types of projects. So based on the scope of work, the amount of work, that formula is tied to that sliding scale. So if we have a budget, the architect's going to work within the budget that the district provides to, which we have that. They won't go beyond that. We will control that budget. And so their responsibility is to design within that budget.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right. Call for the vote. Any further discussion? Sorry. No? Hearing none, call for the vote. And the motion carries. Item 15.3, receive an update on the district's capital facilities program. Mr. Mueller.
Good evening, President Brown, Superintendent Kakish, Board, and Cabinet. It's my pleasure. We changed it up a little bit. That I'll give the project update for the facilities area as we go. So we'll just go right through it. I've got it. Agenda, we're going to give a brief update on POM Innovation Academy, the kitchen building, Sanjee's, and Mountain View's portable projects, and then some maintenance and operation larger projects that have been completed or in process. First of all, POM Innovation Academy, the kitchen construction continues to go on. We are still looking on schedule and moving forward and looking forward to opening that. The facility's been dried in and restrooms have been remodeled. We're doing punch walk of the second one this week yet, shade structure, and finishes are starting to go on the inside of the kitchen building itself. So, Sanjee Middle School, putting those portables in and portable restroom. The buildings have been set. They're finishing up the hardscape around and the ADA work on the sidewalks. So that is rapidly coming to completion. And Mountain View Middle School, about the same condition as Sanjee, working on the hardscape. There was a little delay on the concrete in front of the school, had to do path of travel improvements at the office, but we had some weather delays on that, but we've got that completed this week and wrapping that up, and the buildings are set there, and they'll be setting the finish around the buildings. In the maintenance area, we had some projects, some exciting projects, some lingering too with some weather, but we completed refurbishing the fall zone surfaces at 3 schools. Palm, Highland Academy, we did work there, and Tournament Hills. If you've noticed, you can see from the stadium, the high school's ASB did a nice donation for the school, and there's a new backlit sign on the side of the E building that is visible and designed to be visible from the stadium. You've also probably heard about some roof leaks and rain and excitement, and we're proud to say that we've gone through specifically focusing at Brookside, Past practice has been on the tile roofs on these schools to do patches and repairs, and we had moved beyond that in the condition. So we completed rapidly a complete re-roof at Brookside in the tile. The flat roofs had been previously done. Because of some persistent problems, we did some destructive work in a couple classrooms that you see there with the drywall and the drywall removed, confirming that we didn't have any prolonged water damage underneath those wall surfaces, which we did not, and then replacing drywall and putting that back. So we've finished those. And going forward, we're working on bids for Sundance and for Anahaus to do the same thing and do complete re-roofs on those. If you have tile roofs on your house, maybe you know what we're talking about, but you remove the tile, stack it all up, and it's all the underlayment that we redo. That's our report.
I have a question about Highland Academy.
Yes.
Are we responsible for the facilities there?
We're responsible for the major maintenance of that. Yeah.
And then I just
So
wanted
we
to
did,
say- Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we did asphalt work there as well over the summer and doing that.
And thank you for digging a little bit deeper with the Brookside and the other schools, so we can move past that and not have to do it every year.
That's the goal.
Appreciate that, yeah.
We're looking to move on. All right, thank you.
I just want to say for Palm Elementary, Palm Innovation Academy,
Innovate.
finally got a shelter, a shade thing for the lunch time. No more trees. It's an actual shelter. So
Yes, it is. Yes, it
that's amazing.
is. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. All right, moving on to item 16.1, we will receive a report from the California School Employees Association and its Beaumont Chapter 351. Welcome, sir.
Yay.
Yes, I'm here. It's not a dream, so you don't have to pitch yourself.
I'll pinch David.
Yes, finally I showed up.
The rest of the meeting has been a dream, so why not?
My New Year's resolution.
Off to a great start.
There you go. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Kakish, and cabinet members. It has been some time since I last addressed the board, and I would like to provide a brief update on what has transpired since then. This past June, the district and CCA successfully reached and finalized a new collective bargaining agreement. As part of that agreement, we were also able to secure a new Joint Powers Authority, JPA, for classified employee health coverage. This was a significant achievement for our classified members, as it resulted in a richer benefits plan at a lower cost than our previous JPA. Additionally, the district agreed to continue to participate in the Summer Assistance Program through the California Department of Education. This is a program CCA advocated for the last school year and which was approved to begin this school year. The program allows 11-month employees to receive income during the summer months when they are not working by setting aside a portion of their pay with the Department of Education matching contributions up to $1. We believe this program provides meaningful financial support and stability for our classified members. At the negotiations table, there has been constructive collaboration between both parties as we work toward completing the CNS reorganization, Child Nutrition Services. Our negotiations team is optimistic that we can conclude this process by February 6th. Move it through our 610 process and allow our union members to vote. Following that, we hope to address additional reopener items in a timely manner, including HIA job descriptions and salary, the clerical reorganization, and other outstanding matters on our agenda. Our executive board would like to sincerely thank our cabinet members for supporting the attendance for our classified employees for each site at the incoming CCA Paraeducator Conference in March. This is a great opportunity for our professional development and allows them to network with other paraeducators throughout California. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And 16.2, receive a report from the Beaumont Teachers Association.
I didn't realize how long of a walk that is. That is a long walk.
Sit closer, see?
You can always sit closer.
Well, I was going to say, I sit in the back, so I guess I'm a bad student. Good evening, board members, President Brown, Superintendent Kakish, Cabinet, Julio Martinez here, BTA President, report for January 27th. Happy New Year, first report for the year. BTA met with Cabinet yesterday. We had a discussion on board policy and AR for immigration and enforcement. We had a discussion on the BTA contract article 9.3.1. Bit of a disagreement on interpretation and past practices concerning evaluators, but I'll be meeting with the Assistant Superintendent Castillo on Friday to further discuss that. We had no cabinet meetings in November and December. However, I continue to meet monthly with cabinet members individually. In early December, I met with CBO San Martin, and we discussed staff pay for employees in regards to possible 10-month if that calendar was approved. And we also talked about concerns that employees have with the pay stubs. And we've had this discussion before, and I know there's not a lot we can do at this moment, but I want to just bring it to the attention that the pay stubs, when there's extra pay that staff does, the extra pay is put as one number, and we can't decide where that comes from. So if a teacher is doing different things and they just get one amount, they can't tell where everything is. So they have to end up calling office staff for a breakdown. And it just seems cumbersome and time consuming for both parts. So, you know, we're trying to work on a way that we can remedy that so we don't take a lot of staff time trying to figure out, you know, what number that is and what that includes and so forth. But I'm appreciative of the discussions that we're having with that and to see what we can do with what we have. I will be meeting with Dr. Brown and Assistant Superintendent Castillo on Friday to further discuss issues. Superintendent's listening tour. It's been great. It's been progressing on schedule. We met with secondary sites via Zoom, and she met with Brookside and Summerwin in person. And I'm with her on the tour, so it's our tour. No, it's her tour. But she's well appreciated. No, you did great. Very productive, positive information, positive feedback. Very appreciative of all the sites. So thank you for that, and we're continuing to do that for the sites. We're going to take a break next month, and then we're going to start up in March. I also appreciate the approval of the calendars that you just approved by retaining the 3-week winter break. And most importantly, the 11-month pay instead of the 10-month pay. So thank you so much for that. Lastly, I just want to say I'm very proud that the district had a booth at the Veterans Expo at the city. It was well attended, and thank you for Dominica Bernauer and all the staff that was participant in that. It was really great to see the district there and participating, and that concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Item 16.4, receive a report from board member Melissa Williamson.
Do we not have that?
Oh, no, sorry. That's my fault. Sorry, 16.3, receive a report from BACME. No one from
Oh, never
BACME.
mind.
So.
That was intentional. You knew that. Okay, sorry.
I didn't see him. All right. Now can we go to 16.4 and receive a report from Melissa Williamson?
I don't know if this is on, is it? It's on my end. But,
Oh, there we go.
move it away now.
Magic.
Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. So good to see all of you. It's been way too long, but the break was nice. I was so thrilled to hear that our district started doing the Life by Design program, and that included many of you and our executive cabinet. I did that in March with Colton, And it just really has helped me be intentional about where I want my life instead of, I think as administrators, we tend to like be just kind of carried away by the workload and the demands in front of us. And then at least I can sometimes realize that I'm not really leading the life that I want to lead. And this program, I really believe, if you implement it, you will lead the life that you want to lead. And I encourage you to do that. And if you want to talk to me about it, I love it. So I've talked to everybody I can about it. Maze is probably tired of hearing me. So, but it's been really amazing. One of my goals for the year under the community dimension was there's 10 dimensions, and the community dimension for me was one that needed a little bit less attention than others because my career is in the community and then I'm on the board, and so I'm not really lacking in that area. But I had a goal. I voluntold my family that we were going to do something like of a volunteer event as a family in December. And so we got involved with the Winter Wish program, and it just blew my socks off. And so I know that's not a district-run event, but it greatly benefits our students, and I had no idea. And so first of all, I wanted to just relay a thank you to the custodial staff and maintenance at Sanji. Yeah, so the leaders, there was student leaders for Interact. They are former Beaumont High students. So that was Ari, Suri, and Chris. And then the adult leaders are from Rotary, Bruce and Joanna. And they wanted me to relay their thanks because when they arrived at the facility, it was completely ready for them. And I don't know about years past, but I'm relaying the message. I know it's January now, and it seems like December was like ages ago, because January is like the longest month in the year. But let me tell you, it was like 340 families that received gifts because of this. And my goal was that I wanted my kids to know how privileged they are and to see kind of the other side of things. But the strange thing about volunteering is that you always have the intention to help others, but somehow you leave so fulfilled that it seems a little selfish at the end. And so I've upped my community goal for next year is 2 volunteer events per year, because man, that was awesome. I want more of it, but what a production. I mean, if you really want to have the right focus around the holidays, just go there. I mean, you'll put your running shoes on, eat some good protein, because you will be busting your butt the whole time. It is an undertaking, and it is absolutely impressive. And to know the impact it has on our district, I had to spend some time on that tonight because I'm so happy about it. It makes me feel so good every time I think about just seeing the teamwork and the students, just a ton of students were there working like crazy. And it's so fun working with them. They're really cool. High schoolers are so cool. And so I would encourage you to think about being a part of that next year. And I just wanted to say thank you for the organizers of that event. And maybe you can put that on your community dimension, and we can be there together next year. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williamson.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Thank you. I was so into that I had 2 other things. They're not long though. This is my first time on this end of the dais, and I was a little off kilter but it's been a joy to be down here with you, and you kicked butt tonight. If you were nervous, nobody knew it. Super proud of you, and I'm glad to be down here with you on this end. President Brown, if you wouldn't mind, at the end of the meeting, having a moment of silence for our Beaumont High School student that we lost this week, if that's okay.
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
Um, 16.5, receive a report from board member Mr. David Sanchez.
Thank you. Again, Happy New Year as we finish out the second part of the school year, which seems to always be the rush now until graduation. But to echo what Ms. Patsky stated about community service, it was nice to see the ROTC at the Chatney Center supporting our veterans, the community fair that they had going on there this past weekend. And at the science fair, Miss Laura, you'll remember, you'll know this too, because you usually, as a judge, seeing the little kids just get so excited about telling you about their project. Now, I didn't even ask for any input. I just came and started walking around, and one of the young men just grabbed me by the side and started talking about his project, and it was so neat to see that that excitement and joy. It always bothers me that the science fair seems to pretty much wrap up at the middle school level. Why it doesn't expand at the high school level, there's multiple facets to it. But if there was a way to put a big push at the high school level for the engineering side, that would be fantastic. But again, I know it's multifaceted for the high school to try to find that time for the student as well as the sponsoring staff. Last thing I'd like to end with is tonight we heard community comments from students as well as adults. There is no easy fix to anything that goes on. You can't bring down the hammer on one topic and not another, and maintaining that balance is always going to be tentative on how to come to a resolution. So, and we've seen it throughout the ages or the decades. But there was call for a staff member to be punished. I don't feel that's appropriate because we have to find volunteers to run these clubs, and if we don't have volunteers, the club doesn't exist, and then we end up doing a detriment for the student body at the same time. So again, level minds have to play out at the end. And again, administrators, you're that sounding board, and I hope you continue to try to rise above the static that's on either side. And with that, I'm also very proud to say as a school board, our administrators don't have to come to every single school board meeting, and our meetings don't go until midnight. And like the SARC reports, I'm also glad that our school board, our principals and administrators don't have to do a presentation on each one. So,
That's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you.
So, and with that, I conclude. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. 16.6, Susie has received a report from Dr. Lance and Sylvester, who is not able to make it this evening. 16.7 has received a report from board member Jeff Brown. I wanted to, wait, sorry, let me turn my microphone on. How's that? Probably better for those of you in YouTube land. So I wanted to talk about some of the cool events. The 21st Century Award Ceremony was absolutely stupendous. I went to the high school 21st Century Award Ceremony, and there were so many outstanding scholars from that school. The stack of kids getting honor roll and high honor roll each time the stack was pulled out, it was 2-3 inches thick. I mean, this was amazing. For a school of 500 kids, Dr. Carr, about 400? 425? Okay. So these stacks, it had to be 25-40% of the student body was honor roll or higher honor roll. It was absolutely stupendous. Including Mr. Alderson down there at the end. I also had the privilege to attend the Student of the Month breakfast last month, and the stories that these kids have overcome, the absolute amazing. Every time I go to one of these events, I'm just blown over by the life experiences that these 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids have lived and gone through. It's always amazing, and kudos to those kids for their hard work and perseverance. And I wanted to comment also, Mr. Sanchez mentioned the science fair and how the science fair kind of peters out when you get to high school, but we do have the CTE Expo coming up, which is sort of like high school science fair, and so I wanted to use that as a bridge to promote that event. That is always an amazing event every year, and I'm looking forward to going again this year. I also wanted to echo the comments earlier. We are a very small community, and when one family grieves, I kind of feel like we all grieve. So with that, I will complete my comments and move on to item 16.8, receive a report from Board Member Susie Laura.
Thank you. I just want to say welcome to Caden. Did a good job tonight, and so you did a good job. Just keep it up. And I would like to say that Chris Horton gave, I don't know what you call it, something at the Amazing Shake. It was like a little breakout session for the Amazing Shake students. Basically, what Melissa said, right? He gave a whole thing to them about how it feels to serve and how good you feel after you serve and all those things. So I'm like, that's a perfect example. He should have been there.
Speech to me, so I could use it tonight.
Yeah, there you go. So anyways, good stuff on Saturday at the Amazing Shake, as always. The high school gym was full for the gauntlet, and the auxiliary gym was used for the work the room, and there were over 100 kids in there. Just always incredible, just always incredible. I cannot wait for Thursday. I'm going to be a judge for the final round, so I'm super excited about that because these kids are doing great. So I just 100% support that over and over and over again. So also, you were talking about the excitement for a science fair when the kids do that. It reminds me of the living history days you see in some of the schools sometimes when the classes do living history. They dress up like their characters, and they get all excited to talk about their person that they did history on and everything. It's very cool. And I also would just like to say, Melissa, thank you for a great job last year as president, and Jeff, you're doing a great job. And I just want to say, you guys have been on the board. This is your 4th year now that you guys are starting, and I think you guys are doing a good job. And I just wanted to put that out there for everybody to know. Shucks. And you guys are doing well. So I just wanted to say that. And Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you all the principals for coming. It's always good to see you. And with that, I think I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Laura. And with that, we, as a board, will re-adjourn to closed session because we still, huh? I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. We will observe a moment of silence in respect for our Beaumont High School student. So however your faith observes. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your respect. And we will move to item 17.1, where we will re-adjourn to closed session to complete the business of the board. We will be back in public session again for those of you who want to stick around for a little while.
I'll
And-
move approval to go back into closed session.
Okay.
Second.
Susie and Melissa. Discussion? Hearing none. Call for the vote.
I like that. I'm going to do that next time.
I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to be here when we get back.
Aw.